Welcome back to another episode of PA Whiskey Guys. I'm Chris, and with me as always is Jesse. How's it going, man?
It's going good, going pretty good today. We don't have John with us as he's our normal. He had something to come up last minute, so we're just gonna do it, me and Chris here.
Yeah, we took a few weeks off, so we apologize for that, right? So
yeah, I was sick. I had the flu. Chris, you were traveling, I believe, right?
yeah, I was down in North Carolina, which is another controlled state, so I didn't have too much success hunting bourbons down there.
Yeah.
I think I picked up a few of the wild turkeys that we can't get here, but hopefully we discuss them in another episode.
Yeah.
But today we've got a special bourbon to talk about. It's going to be Blanton's. It's part of the single barrel series we have. It's got a few unique characteristics, and it was created in honor of Colonel Albert B. Blanton, a longtime distillery manager at Buffalo Trace. Jesse, can you tell us a bit about the background of this bourbon, or about Buffalo Trace?
Yeah, Buffalo Trace is, it's probably the most popular distillery in Kentucky for sure, I would have to say. A lot of people know about them. A lot of people wait in line for their products, especially Blanton's. It's very hard to come by here in PA.
I think all of their stuff's pretty much allocated, right?
Yeah, for us in PA it is. It's slowly becoming non-allocated. Regular Buffalo Trace is in Ohio just recently. I remember reading in the news that it's non-allocated, as they say. So it should be on the shelves, no limit. Usually when you see these products here, Buffalo Trace, Blanton's for sure. There's a two bottle limit per person usually in the liquor store. So Buffalo Trace, it's like I said, it's a popular one. Quick history lesson on Buffalo Trace. In 1775, the site would become Buffalo Trace Distillery was first established by Hancock and Willis Lee along the Kentucky River in Frankfort, Kentucky. 1812, the first distillery was constructed by Harris and Blanton. I actually didn't know that. Skipping up to the 19th century, in 1870, Colonel Edmund Haynes Taylor Jr. purchased the distillery and named it Old Fire Copper Distillery. Edmund Haynes Taylor, as some people know, is Colonel E.H. Taylor whiskey, bourbon, rye, that Buffalo Trace also makes.
Which we can't get our hands on.
Which you also can't find. 1878, George T. Stagg acquired the distillery and became known for its high-quality bourbon. If I'm not mistaken, George T. Stagg was the first bourbon that Buffalo Trace has ever put out. That was the first bourbon that they put out, I believe. These names are prominent because they are currently bottles that are fairly hard to come by, especially George T. Stagg. I believe it won Bourbon of the Year multiple times over. It's, I think it's a $150 bottle, but on the secondary market it sells for over $1,000.
Yeah, we saw it $1,000 when we were in New York.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's very true.
I've never had it though, I don't think.
I had it once. Actually, John gave me a little pour of the bottle that he has.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty good stuff. It's definitely up there with some of the best. In 1886, the distillery installed the first climate-controlled warehouse for aging whiskeys, a significant innovation at the time. 1886 and they're climate-controlled. I'd love to dive into the history of that.
How do they do that?
Yeah, they must have had their ways, clearly. Jumping into the Prohibition era, the distillery was one of the few that was allowed to produce medicinal whiskey during Prohibition, which helped them survive that period. A lot of other distilleries, didn't survive. Old Forester, which I believe was the first, they were the first ones to have the medicinal whiskey thing. They were the first ones that ever did that or whatever, I believe. In the 1940s, the distillery continued to thrive under management of Albert B. Blanton, who played a crucial role in its development. Again, we're drinking Blanton's today, named after him. Jumping up to the modern era from the 40s, 1984, Elmer T. Lee introduced Blanton's single barrel bourbon, the first single barrel bourbon marking a significant milestone in the industry. They started the single barrel program basically, or I don't know if we want to call it a program, but they were the first to do it. Until what we know now, quite a few distilleries have single barrels.
And that just comes from them. Like if it's not a single barrel, then they're mixing everything.
Yeah, they're mixing it from multiple barrels and batches and stuff like that. Yeah, you'll see small batch on a bottle. Elijah Craig was small batch, so they're batch from again. We don't know what they actually, how many barrels they use or whatever. So, in 1992, the Sazerac company purchased the distillery and named it to Buffalo Trace. So Sazerac, going back actually, Elmer T. Lee is another brand, another whiskey that Buffalo Trace puts out. Sazerac Rye is another one, obviously named after the company. In 2001, the distillery was listed on the National Register of Historical Places and later designated a historical landmark in 2013. Buffalo Trace continues to produce its wide range of highly regarded bourbons and whiskeys, maintaining its reputation for quality and innovation. It remains a significant player in the bourbon industry, with a rich history that spans over 2 centuries, which, again, we said it earlier that, they're definitely the most popular, probably distillery in Kentucky if I had to take a shot at it.
Buffalo Trace, that is.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace, yep. They do make some good stuff. It's just hard for people to find. Yeah. It's slowly becoming available.
I feel like the hype is a little too much, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you bring that up because Blanton's, to me, I've had multiple times, I mean, people wait in line for it. On the secondary market, it's, about $150 a bottle. Wow.
We saw that when we were in New York too.
Yeah,
150 plus.
150 plus. I don't chase it, so I don't know what people actually, if they're paying online or anything like that, whatever. I was lucky to stumble across it locally at the store down the road here from the house.
So here in PA, what's the price for it if we see it?
It used to be 60, 65, and I believe they raised it to like 74 now.
So they did like a $10 increase?
Yeah, and that was statewide. That's nothing, that's just what they did. Actually, I think Buffalo Trace increased the MSRP of it. Okay. Which then the local, or the states had to follow suit as well, of course,
I know when we were on the cruise ship, I saw it for 64 on the cruise ship, and there wasn't a limit. There was a guy that bought a case of it.
Wow.
So...
Yeah, I missed it there.
Yeah. I think the lady, when I talked to her running the counter, said they only had 24 bottles.
Yeah, I think and I think the price increase is recent, as of in the last probably 2 months. I remember kind of reading that in a news article online about just whiskey in general or whatever, but it was mentioned, I believe, in an article.
All right. So this is the Blanton Single Barrel. It's at 93 proof. He said roughly $75. What the age statement is undisclosed, but it's known to be 6 to 8 years. So it doesn't tell you the mash bill is undisclosed.
Yeah, it's believed to be part of mash bill number 2, which also includes Elmer T. Lee, Rock Hill Farms Ancient Age, and Hancock's President Reserve. Mash bill number 1, I believe, is like George T. Stagg. Oh. The BTAC, which is the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. Thomas Handy, Eagle Rare. 17. I'm not positive on all that though.
That's all mash bill 1.
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Now this is going to, again, the mash bill is not disclosed, but generally thought to contain 12 to 15% rye. So going back to the earlier things, the earlier episodes, we know I like the rye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. So with this one's interesting, with only the 12 to 15% rye. And then the remainder, obviously, being corn and a small amount of malted barley. So, what do you want to do? You want to get right into the nose then?
Yeah. We can test it out and see what we think. You know, I don't know.
So, oak, caramel, dried fruit. That was primarily, I know when we first poured it, I wasn't getting anything on it, but now it's...
Yeah, we poured this
fruit.
before we actually started recording and let it breathe a little bit in the glass. And I wasn't getting anything either.
No.
It's opened up in the last 10-15 minutes for me, though. Definitely getting that caramel in there.
And that's why I gotta say, this is not a complex. There's not a lot going on here.
No.
It seems like a real simple, not complex, real just...
easy
basic.
drinker. It's probably why a lot of people like it, I mean, I think maybe that's why, personally me, I don't chase it because it's not complex. To me, it's not anyway. I know, again, we always say people's palates are different. And, I've had other stuff that has more flavor for sure. This is not a sweet bourbon. This is not going to give you the sweetness like some bourbons do and stuff like that. It's
definitely has
because
a
it's
little
got
spice
that
to it.
rye in it. Yeah, which is the rye.
Definitely has spice to it, but it doesn't have a burn. Going down the back of the throat. Or anything.
That could be the 93 proof.
Yeah,
it's another under 100 proof, which it's.
You can definitely smell the spice. You definitely knows the spice on it.
Yeah, you get a little spiciness there.
There isn't much of an ethanol to it, I don't think. When we first cracked it, that's all I pretty much smelled was ethanol, but now it's not. Like I said,
I mean it's good. Like
caramel,
it's definitely
an oak.
It's definitely a good nose, I think.
Yeah, it's pleasant. All right, what do you think about the palate?
Right off, I'm getting the oak part. I'm getting the spice.
Those baking spices.
Yeah, they're there. They're there a little bit.
I don't get any sweet. Nothing really sweet. Baking spice, maybe a caramel, but like an unsweetened caramel.
Yeah, yeah, it's very faint. It's not powerful.
Like almost a dried fruit, but very. It's nothing crazy sweet.
Yeah, and the tasting notes, it says baking spice, caramel, oak, and it gives away the sweet vanilla and citrus. I get a little bit of the citrus on the nose, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, or fruit, or fruit.
That's where I get the dried
Can't
fruit.
say citrus, although I'm getting kind of like, maybe a little orange peel.
Yeah.
Like an orange peel in there or something like that. No lemon, nothing like that. It does say, and I do get this part of it, on the palate, a buttery mouthfeel. It lingers. It lingers pretty good, Coats your tongue front to back pretty much. That's nice. I mean, that's nice usually in a whiskey, I don't know. You could see some legs in there, but
yeah,
it's not really viscous. It's not too bad. For me, anyway.
No, and I know that the finish is dry. It's quick, dry. It doesn't linger around too much. I kind of see that buttery finish in the end, but it's dry.
It's definitely dry. They mention leather.
We were talking about that before.
Soft pepper notes. I don't get any of the pepper.
No. Not in the finish. That spice is up front for me.
I get a little tingle on the tongue. Maybe that is the pepper. I don't taste it though. Like, I don't know. They didn't soft pepper notes. I don't know. Black pepper, white pepper. I know there's some differences there sometimes with certain whiskeys and stuff like that.
No, it's good. It's not again, for it to be allocated, for me, nose, taste, it's simple. It's not complex. It seems very basic. To pay $150 for this bottle is
yeah,
crazy.
I would never. I'd never wait in line. I would never overpay for it. If I've never had it, maybe once I'd overpay for it.
I would overpay for anything I haven't had, but just because we don't know.
Yeah.
If someone hypes it up,
Yeah.
how do you know?
Oh, it's got the hype. That's for
Yeah.
sure. It's definitely got the hype. I mean,
Imagine overpaying for that though, and then you're stuck with, oh wow, this is not.
It's
not really complex. It's not in the wheelhouse.
Yeah. I'd like to try some of the other ones. They make Blanton's Gold straight from the barrel. Straight from the barrel is the barrel proof one. That's usually in the high upper 20s in proof. That'd probably be a little bit more complex than this one.
120?
126 maybe.
I think the gold was 103.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we had mentioned before there's a green label, black.
Yeah, red. There's actually names to them.
And they do have an international market.
They do. They're actually Takara, I think is the name of the company. It's a Japanese company. They actually own Blanton's. Like they don't, like Buffalo Trace doesn't own, they just distill it. And the parent company owns it, and they have the rights to it. And Japan has a huge market for Blanton's, which is where a lot of them, the green, the red, and the black, that's where they all get shipped. There's actually not that he'll ever hear this podcast or whatever, but there's a very, very popular book called Warehouse H, which is the warehouse where Blanton's is aged. I have the book. I actually didn't read it. It's actually autographed from the author when I bought it. It's a very, very, very good book about Blanton's, about how it was it helped save the bourbon industry back in 1984 when it was introduced. It's been popular since 1984, so they're doing something right, clearly.
Yeah. I know, like the biggest distinctive things about it is obviously the bottle, the handwritten label, the toppers. I think they're wax sealed as well.
Yeah.
There's something with the toppers. There's a letter on every one.
Was not always there though.
No.
That started. I don't know if that's in our history notes here. There's definitely a story behind the actual bottle. It was believed that Elmer T. Lee designed the bottle, but the bottle was used by another distillery. Don't quote me on that one.
Okay.
There's this story to it. It's interesting. Like I never. Again, not reading the book. It's all in the book, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I have heard podcasts with the guy's name is Dominic, and I can't pronounce his last name. But he talks about it, and that's kind of where I got my knowledge from, is when he was talking about it. But there is significance. The bottle, the stopper, which does have letters on it now, which spells out Blanton's when you collect them all.
You can send them back, right? Yeah, mantle.
Yeah, you can send it back, and they'll send you a stave. They'll send you an oak barrel stave, and it's all the toppers will go on top of it.
Okay. All right, that's pretty cool.
To get them, I've two. Actually, I don't know if the other bottle's a different letter or not. I actually never checked.
I think you can buy them on eBay.
You could. Yeah, you could. You could.
I mean, for us to try to collect them here in Pennsylvania would be a crazy feat.
Yeah, I think I mean, if it's still there, I have one at the camper and I have two here, so
yeah.
I'm getting there. But I don't know if they're all different letters or not. So.
Well, what do you think your final takeaway on this bourbon is? And do you have anything else to add?
I mean, no. I mean, there's, like I said, there's some rich history with this.
Yeah.
Blanton's.
You ask anybody about it, they know about it. They've heard about it.
They should have. Yeah.
Everybody wants to try it if they haven't.
Yeah, it's Buffalo Trace. Their marketing is genius. Like, they make quality products. They do make quality products, and I think I frown on them or, don't give them all the credit because you can't get their stuff. If it was on the shelf every day,
that's the worst part.
I mean, I'd always have it. It's worth buying, but to chase it around, it's definitely not worth it. You know, I mean, people, you can go to the store and get something probably better. You know, well, definitely better. I mean, they definitely make better stuff than this. But I don't dislike it. It's good.
Oh, I enjoy it.
You know,
again,
if it becomes
simple.
available, I'll have it. I'll have it on the shelf. I mean, again, you know, bring someone in. We're starting new with the podcast, and we're trying to get everybody involved, and you know, getting some friends on board, and you know, they see it sitting on your shelf or whatever. Oh, you know, I'll try that. You know, it's good to have. The bottle looks awesome. I mean, you can't go wrong with looking at the bottle. It's definitely an eye catcher.
Yeah, it's very distinctive too. So everybody knows when they see that bottle, they know exactly what it is. I enjoy it. It's simple. It's not complex. It's an easy sipper. But
yeah, as I'm drinking, I still have a little bit left in the glass. It's good. I mean, it grows on you. I mean, I don't. This is honestly the most I've had of this in quite a while. I get a sip here or two from other friends that have it. You know, and I only know a couple of people that have it.
Well, that's our final takeaways in.
Yeah, if you could find it at a reasonable price, especially here in PA, it's set at, it's probably what I think I said $74. If you could find it, grab it.
Yeah.
You know, I know that it's been floating around recently. It's slowly becoming available. I think, I don't know.
Well, that sounds about it. So again, this was Blanton's Single Barrel, and don't forget to like and subscribe to PA Whiskey Guys. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple. Am I missing one?
A couple others, but they're not super, super popular.
All right.
You know.
Oh, Instagram?
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
All right. And then, again, you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Apple. And then
they're the big ones.
Follow all of our latest posts on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep.
And then for now, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jesse.
And we'll catch you with the cork out.